I don't remember when we stopped talking about the future. Not deliberately, not after a fight, it just stopped coming up. Her name was Laura. Mine is Daniel. We had been together long enough that people assumed we were stable, comfortable, past the fragile stage. And maybe we were, just not in the way people mean it. Every morning followed the same pattern. Coffee, news playing quietly in the background, Laura scrolling on her phone while pretending to listen, me reading headlines without absorbing anything. We were very good at coexistence. She used to ask what I thought about things, small things, big ones, where we'd travel next, whether we should move, what kind of life we wanted in 5 years. Lately, she didn't ask. I told myself it meant we trusted each other enough not to check in constantly, that silence was a form of understanding. But silence is rarely neutral. One evening, she came home later than usual. Not dramatically late, just late enough to disrupt routine. She placed her keys on the counter carefully, as if the sound mattered. She said she had stayed at work longer. I said, "Okay." That was it. And in that moment, I realized how little curiosity we had left for each other. A few days later, we went grocery shopping together. Something we used to enjoy. Now it felt procedural. She walked a few steps ahead of me, stopping occasionally to compare labels. I followed with the cart, automatically avoiding bumping into her heels. At one point, she picked up a product we never bought before. She looked at it longer than necessary. I almost asked why. I didn't. Instead, I commented on the price, something safe, unimportant. She nodded, put it back, and moved on. That's when it hit me. We weren't avoiding conflict, we were avoiding exposure. In the car, the radio played softly, a song neither of us reacted to. She tapped her fingers against the window, a nervous habit I remembered from years ago. I wondered how many habits I had missed noticing lately. She asked if I was happy. The question wasn't dramatic. It sounded more like a survey than an accusation. I said I thought so. She smiled politely, the kind of smile you give when you're acknowledging an answer, not believing it. She didn't tell me how she felt. I didn't ask. Conversation finally happened on a Sunday afternoon. Not because we planned it, but because there was nowhere left to hide. We were sitting at the table, half-finished cups of coffee between us. Laura stared at the surface, tracing invisible patterns with her finger. She said she felt like we had paused our lives without noticing. The days kept passing, but nothing was being decided anymore. She said she wasn't angry. That scared me more than anger would have. I told her I thought this was normal, that long relationships settled into quieter versions of themselves, that excitement naturally faded. She listened carefully. Then she said something I wasn't prepared for. She said she didn't miss excitement. She missed intention. She missed feeling like we were actively choosing each other instead of just remaining. I wanted to explain, to justify, to promise change, but something in her tone told me promises wouldn't land the way they used to. We talked for a long time, slowly, carefully. She admitted she had started imagining a version of her life that didn't include me, not because she wanted to leave, but because she wanted to know if she still could. That hurt in a quiet, precise way. I told her I had assumed staying was proof of commitment, that consistency meant care. She said consistency without presence felt empty. She said she didn't want to wake up one day and realize she had trained herself not to want more. I realized then that neither of us was wrong. We were just protecting different fears. She feared disappearing. I feared disruption. In fear, left unattended, eventually chooses for you. After that conversation, the apartment felt different. Not emptier, more exposed, like something had been moved that couldn't be put back in the exact same place. Laura stayed that night, not because we decided she should, but because neither of us suggested otherwise. We moved around each other carefully, like people learning the shape of a room in the dark. She folded her jacket and placed it on the chair instead of hanging it up. I noticed that. I didn't say anything. We ate dinner without turning on the TV. That was new. Or maybe it used to be normal, and we had just forgotten. At one point, she asked if I remembered the first year we lived together, how everything felt temporary back then. The furniture, the jobs, even us. I said I did. She said it was strange how temporary things often felt more alive than permanent ones. That stayed with me. Later, lying in bed, I realized we hadn't touched each other. Not accidentally, not intentionally. There was no tension in it, just awareness. Awareness can be heavier than anger. I didn't sleep much that night, not because my mind was racing, but because it was unusually clear. I thought about all the moments I had chosen comfort over honesty, all the times I had told myself later without deciding when later would come. Laura slept facing the window. In the morning, she woke up before me. I knew because I heard the shower running, then stopping. I stayed still, pretending to sleep, not because I wanted to avoid her, but because I wanted to observe the quiet without interrupting it. She made coffee, 2 cups, out of habit. She placed one on my side of the counter, then paused, just for a second, long enough to register that the habit no longer felt automatic. She left it there anyway. We talked a little that morning, about practical things, groceries, a bill that needed paying, a message from a mutual friend asking about weekend plans. Laura said we should probably tell people something soon, not details, just that we were figuring things out. I nodded. The phrase "figuring things out" felt like a bridge that could either collapse or connect. Over the next few days, we tried something new, not fixing things, not pretending, just being honest in small doses. She admitted she often felt like she was shrinking next to me, not because I asked her to, but because I didn't notice when she did. I admitted that I had built my sense of stability around predictability, around knowing what came next, and that uncertainty made me feel like I was losing ground. Neither of us was proud of these admissions, but neither of us took them back. One evening, she said something that shifted everything. She said she wasn't sure whether we wanted us to work or whether she just wanted to stop feeling guilty for questioning it. I didn't answer right away, because for the first time, I understood that love wasn't the only thing at stake. Identity was. She needed to know who she was outside of us, and I needed to know whether I loved her or the life that required less courage. That night, we agreed on something we hadn't considered before. Space. Not distance fueled by resentment, not a breakup dressed as maturity. Actual space. She would stay with a friend for a while. No timeline, no rules about what it meant, just time to feel without constantly adjusting to each other's presence. When she packed a small bag, she didn't rush. She folded each item carefully, deliberately. I watched from the doorway. When she was done, she looked around the room, not sentimentally, practically, like someone memorizing a place they might not return to. She asked if I was okay. I said I didn't know. She smiled faintly, not sadly. She said that was the most honest answer I'd given in a long time. The apartment was quieter after Laura left. Not in a dramatic way, in a functional one. I started noticing sounds I had tuned out for years. The hum of the refrigerator, the soft click of the heating turning on, the way the floor creaked near the hallway at night. It wasn't loneliness exactly, it was awareness. Days passed without structure. I worked, I ate, I slept. But everything felt slightly unanchored, like a routine that no longer knew what it was supporting. Laura didn't call. I didn't either. We texted occasionally, short messages, neutral updates. She said she was doing okay. I believed her because the message didn't ask me to reassure her. I began to understand something uncomfortable. Space doesn't always create clarity. Sometimes it just removes distraction. Without her presence, I couldn't blame silence on us anymore. It was just mine. One evening, I opened a drawer I hadn't touched in years. Inside were things we never threw away, old receipts, a folded note from a trip we took early on, a list she once made, places we wanted to visit someday. Most of them were still just names on paper. I realized then how often we postponed life together in the name of being responsible, how we treated desire like something that could wait indefinitely. It can't. A week later, Laura asked if we could talk, not urgently, not emotionally, just honestly. We met in a small cafe neither of us loved, but both of us knew, neutral ground. We sat across from each other with enough distance to breathe. She looked different, not happier, not sadder, clearer. She said the time apart had confirmed something for her, that she didn't feel lighter because she was away from me, but because she was no longer editing herself in real time, that she could hear her own thoughts without checking whether they would cause friction. I listened, fully. I told her I had learned something too, that I had confused reliability with presence, that I thought staying was enough without realizing how passive that choice had become. She nodded. Then she asked the question we had both been circling. She asked whether I wanted to rebuild, not what we had, but something unknown, something that would require effort, discomfort, and a different version of both of us. I didn't answer immediately, not because I didn't care, but because I finally understood the cost of answering too quickly. I told her the truth. I told her that part of me wanted to try, not out of fear, but because I still saw her, still respected her, still felt connected. And another part of me was terrified that trying again would mean defaulting back to comfort once the urgency faded. She said she felt the same conflict. We sat with that for a while, no one rushing to resolve it. In the end, we made a decision that surprised both of us. We chose not to decide everything that day, not because we were avoiding the truth, but because we were finally respecting it. We agreed to continue living separately, to stay honest, to meet again later, not to negotiate a relationship, but to see who we were becoming without one. There was no dramatic goodbye. Outside, the street looked ordinary. People walked past us without noticing. Life continued, indifferent and steady. Laura hugged me before leaving, not tightly, not distantly, just enough. She said she was glad we hadn't forced an ending just to feel certain. I watched her walk away until she blended into the crowd. For the first time, I didn't feel like something had been taken from me. It felt like something had been returned. Time, choice, attention. I don't know whether Laura and I will find our way back to each other. I don't know whether this story ends in reunion or permanence. What I do know is this: love isn't sustained by staying. It's sustained by choosing, again and again, without autopilot. And whatever comes next, I won't mistake silence for peace ever again.